Hello and welcome to this quick advanced tutorial. I put that as an advanced tutorial because I will not explain everything I'm doing on the way, just to reproduce this matrix effect quickly. So if you just follow the step, you will be able to reproduce this effect, but I will not explain everything along the way to keep it short and simple. This will allow to have this kind of dot matrix effect with a lot of different controls over it, like changing the size of the dots and changing the shapes of the dots that you want to use for your effect, and the density of point that will be scattered as an array of point, not as a random point for now. So let's create a new composition, Ctrl-Shift-N, and let's add whatever image we want. So let's do that with a standard pack texture example image, and let's take this one. So what I will do is I will put my dot effect modifier, the one that I will create, not on my image, but on my full composition. And I will do a right click utility compo based. So I will use a compo based modifier. So what the compo based do right now, nothing. You just have something that is called a parent input that allow actually to get back whatever image is or to the pixel grid that is entered inside of it. So for instance, if I duplicate my parent input here, the only thing that does the compo base for now is just take whatever get into my compo base modifier and take the parent input in different places. So what I will do in my compo based modifier inside this composition, which is a composition, so you can do whatever you want to do, like inside any composition, like in this main composition, for instance, I will create a 3D plane, and I will create a camera which I put as a top perspective camera. If this preset does not appear in your menu, top perspective camera, again, you probably have to go into standard pack, preset, and activate all of those motherfuckers. So now I have my plane. Let's put back the parent input, Control-Alt-F, Control-Alt-5 to put that in full screen, and the plane. So my compo base modifier right now does only that. So I will just adapt the plane to the size of my image. So I'll do that manually. I'll show in the next tutorial maybe how to do that in a procedural fashion, so that the plane size and point density get back from the resolution of the composition. But for now, we'll do that manually and quickly. So now what I'm going to do is add a sprite point renderer. And what I always do, again, is Control-Shift-A to create a new renderer, suppress it, and add a sprite point renderer. Why do I do that? It's because of a small bug into Smode. Again, that's a little message for the kind and gentle developers of Smode that are maybe watching us. Because if I create a plane that already contain PBR renderer and I just add a sprite point renderer over it, poof, it had a sprite point but does not display in the screen. So that's a bug. So just for you to know, just create a renderer with Control-Shift-A and suppress it. So we are only keeping our sprite points here. So let's go back to the plane and add a little bit precision density on our generator here. So let's try to make this even. Okay. So now I have like a huge number of points, well, a resolution of 127 by 71 actually on my image. And what you see is this little not very pleasant stuff. This is due to the way sprite points are computed. So here are my sprite points. I can change, of course, the shape of it. And if I put them too wide and they overlap, as those points use an image that contain alpha. So if I unfold it and visualize my image, and let's put that background in black. So this black part is actually an alpha. So the blending of this sprite does not work by default. You have to activate an option. So there's actually two options you can activate. Depth sorted, which is the most correct and beautiful one, but it takes a lot of resources from the computer. So what I will do is just go in advanced and deactivate the test and write of my point in the depth buffer. As I am actually in a flat array, I will use my 3D plane as a 2D method to do the dot matrix. I don't need this point to be written in the depth buffer, so to be computed in a 3D space. So that will be alright for now. Just deactivate test and write by going to the advanced mode of the sprite points. Now what I need to do is to colorize my sprite point with my image. So my image is this one, but again, it's also contained inside this parent input. So what I will do is do a right click, attribute, colorize texture layer on my plane. And my plane, actually my colorized texture layer hold a uniform color. So if I put that in, for instance, checkerboard, it will just colorize my point using this checkerboard texture. So now let's take the parent input, which is the one that actually display my image, and do an alt drag and drop over the checkerboard and reactivate my colorized texture layer. And here you see that I have already my dot matrix. And so now there's some tweaking that we can do. Is for first Control Shift and slide down a little bit to reduce the size of the point. Now you see that at the background I still have my my non-modified image because this parent input is still activated. So let's deactivate it. Okay. Now I have my dot matrix that works. Let's put this composition with no alpha layer. And here it is. So I can change the size of my sprite point here. I can change the density by going to the plane and change the density here of my point. So to change the resolution. And also what I can do, so let's put the resolution a little bit back and augment the size of my sprite point. So I can basically choose any shape I want to create my dot matrix. Let's add a little bit of resolution in vertical fashion. Here it is. Because right now, as you remember, my sprite point is triggered by this image with a soft blending, soft alpha. So if I select this image, and this manipulation you can do in every layer media image that you imported into Smode, you have this little file tab here. So let's unfold it, and here you see all the sprites that are actually contained in the standard pack. So if I do a right click, reveal in media directory, they are all there inside the standard pack. So let's double click on the bubble, for instance, and here my dot matrix is made from a bubble, or for a circle, or for just a plain disk. And what I can do also, everywhere in which there's a layer, you can put a composition, you can put a video, you can put whatever sheet you want. So what I will use here, I think I have some example videos, Smode files, let's go in my Smode generative folder and select an example video that I have here. So my video are obviously, of course, all in HIP. So let's take the cloud, for instance, and alt drag and drop over it. Where's my mouse? Okay. Okay, it did not drag and drop on the correct one. So let's just drag and drop normally and deactivate this one and play the smoke. So now each one of my dot points are generating using this smoke pattern. So basically that's how you do a dot matrix effect, and this is nicely contained into a compo based modifier that you can call dot matrix, and you can export it. Let's export that into my folder by just doing a right click export, or just drag and drop it like that. Dot matrix. Okay, so now we will do a reference of my composition. So I will now create a new composition and use this dot matrix modifier over another media. So do I have some example image somewhere in texture, in the standard pack, example image? And let's take one that has a shitty resolutions, like this one, example video, swing point move. Okay. So now, if I put my dot matrix effect directly on the swing.mov, or maybe if I put directly on the Tolmin picture, come on. Okay, let's import that. There seems to be a little... Okay, it does not want to allow me to put that on my image for strange reason, because it should be allowed. So maybe that's just a bug, because if I do a compo based modifier here, okay, so that's clearly a bug. Well, so use the compo based modifier over composition, but again, another message to the developer: the compo based modifier does not seem to want to be instantiated on a plain image. But what I wanted to show is, let's then change the resolution of my main composition to like 200 by okay. And you see the sheet that is happening is just because my plane, my composition in the compo based modifier takes the resolution of the composition or the layer on which it is applied, which means that my plane does not hold anymore the correct ratio or the correct point density. So I will have to adapt that a little bit, but there's only, as you see, a few parameters that you have to trigger, and also the sprite point size. And this will get me back to a more correct way of doing it. So here it is for now. I hope it has been clear and short. And again, if you have any questions, just ask in the comment. See you later.